Yeah, my question is about universal suffering. Um, so I moved away from Christianity very early on because it was all about hell and brimstone. And then I spent many years in India. The Vedic texts really spoke to me, and especially the Isha Upanishad about wholeness. But just these last 4 years have been really awful on the outer world. And what's kind of is Jesus on the cross is something that really resonates with me right now. It's like when Jesus is on the cross and he's really ultimately suffering, um, he presence is obscured, and he says, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" And then at another point, um, and gets transmuted. And again, he feels the magnificence and beauty of presence, but even in a deeper, more
Yeah.
fundamental sense.
He says, but not my will, thy will be done.
No, yes,
He moves. To begin with, as you say, there's this, why hast thou forsaken me? And then
yes,
there's beautiful surrender.
it's beautiful surrender, exactly. And then it's forgive them, Father, they know not what they do,
Yes.
because he's that there's been the transmutation of the absolute immense suffering, and the pathway is open.
Yes.
I mean, I've got, sorry, I'm getting a bit emotional, but
So,
it feels, I mean, the last 4 years have been awful. And there's a point within the suffering where it all pulls back. And and then there is a seeing of love, there is loving presence for Helen and everyone that suffers. And then presence isn't just like being generally happy and not having any problems. Presence is something almost unbearably beautiful that can't be described. And it's a yo-yo for me because it's this is a happening, and then it life is so difficult with my mother. Alzheimer's, she has extreme darkness. She was a refugee from Poland in the war, and much darkness comes out in her, and I'm swallowed in that again. It feels like it's universal suffering. It doesn't feel anymore like, I feel like in the body is like not just Helen suffering, but the body is
yes.
everyone suffering.
Yeah,
So,
exactly, Helen. It's not your personal suffering. You're bearing. In this case, you're bearing your mother's sorrow. And,
yeah,
and and from there, you go from there to humanity's sorrow, and you feel that in your heart.
yes, yes,
And it's not your own personal sorrow, but it's as painful
yeah,
as your personal, if not more.
yes. And all my nerve endings, they are on fire. And well, my question is this a transmutation of suffering? It's like, I mean, I kind of know it is. I'm looking for I don't know, I just put it into words, and I don't know, I don't know. I think I'm asking for confirmation that,
Yes.
yeah,
Yes, you've got to the stage, Helen, where you said, Lord, why hast thou forsaken me? But
yes,
then, but then you've taken the next step, Lord, thy will, not my will, be done. You surrender the struggle with the sorrow. You don't understand. You can't understand. We can't understand. You just bear it. You
Yes.
bear it, and you bear it in your heart. And the reason you can bear it in your heart, the reason we can bear it in our heart, is because our heart is big enough for the sorrow.
Yes.
If it were too small for all the world's sorrow to fit into it, it would be unbearable. But
Yes.
it's not unbearable. We can bear it. You can hold
Yes.
not only whatever personal sorrow you may have, you can hold your mother's sorrow in your heart. And in fact, that is probably your role for her now, to bear her sorrow for
Yes.
her. And
Yes.
your heart is big enough to hold humanity's sorrow in it. You don't understand it. It's incomprehensible. You can't do anything to relieve it directly. You just bear it in your heart, because your heart, which is made of love, is bigger than the sorrow.
Because
You,
my heart, it's the universal heart. That's
exactly. Just as your sorrow ultimately is not personal, your heart, whose nature is love, it is not personal. It is the heart, infinite being, whose nature is love. And that's what you are.
yes.
And as you say, it doesn't necessarily make your problems go away,
No.
but the problems cease to be problems. They exist,
Yes.
but the
Yes.
problems are no longer problematic. You just hold them in your heart. Even whether they are personal, whether they belong to you, your mother, your family, the world, it doesn't matter. It's incomprehensible. You just hold it in your heart.
And the spanner in the works is non-acceptance. That the spanner in the works is
But that's the transition that Jesus made from, Lord, why hast thou forsaken me,
yeah.
to, Lord, thy will, not my will, be done. And then that's to do with his own interior experience. But then he turns outwards to the world, and he feels this connection of love with the people who are torturing him, and he says, forgive them. That
Yes.
don't know what they're doing. I don't. Their being is my being. Forgive
Yeah.
them. So he first of all resolves the issue of resistance within himself, but then he turns towards the world, and he shares that understanding with the world.
Because when he resolves it, transmuting takes place, which is just pure love. And there is
Yeah.
no suffering anymore. It's yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rupert. It's yeah.
I know these years. I know
Mm.
they've been difficult. They are difficult, but they are transmuting you into something very beautiful.
Yeah, and this is it. It's like, what is God's grace? It's not all the good stuff.
Doesn't
It's
always come with a sweet smile. Sometimes it
yeah,
does,
yeah. Sometimes it does, and it
but
used to.
sometimes it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, and it used to, like, bliss was a regular thing, in my
Yes.
life. But
But now it's yes, you're being put through a fire.
yes,
Um, God wants even more of you.
yes, yeah, that's how I feel. So it's all good, really. It's just
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. It's incredibly helpful because sometimes I think, no, I don't know. Yeah,
Thank you, Helen.
good to verbalize it and share.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, yes. I'm glad you did. Thank you.
yeah. Thank you, Rupert.